Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Bethany Mandel is one of the founders of the momwars.substack.com, themomwars.substack.com. Bethany, I've listened to the last 2 days of commentary podcast. I think you need to make a nice dish of comfort food and get it up to New York quickly, because John's losing his mind. Have you listened?
Yeah, he is.
He's very
I just
distraught.
went down. I just went down to Seth's office and I asked if anyone had done a wellness check on John. Um, he's still communicating via text.
Well, I understand it because I'm taken aback, and I've read the Israeli press and the English, and nobody in Israel likes this deal. Nobody. And I am worried, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm like Matt Continetti, let's just hold on until we see it. What's your
Yeah.
reaction first, Bethany, then tell me about your friends in Israel.
So I think that I'm personally in the same place as you and Continetti. I'm waiting and seeing what it says, but I don't feel comforted by the fact that we have not heard from Pete Hegseth and we have not heard from Marco Rubio. If they came out and said, this is a good deal, I feel good about it, I stand behind it, I personally would feel a lot better. I would also feel a lot better if we could actually read it for ourselves and understand, what is at stake here with our own two eyes, and instead of all of this like weird conjecture that we're all doing. But the folks in Israel are feeling like, they really partnered with America for the first time in such a real tangible way, and they put so much on the line and they sacrificed so much, and there's a lot of fear that it was for nothing.
So let's talk a little bit about Bibi's feelings. He had built his entire reelection campaign on the relationship with Trump, and
Yeah.
Trump clipped him. And so I don't know. I think he's on the Churchill arc now, which is win the war and get thrown out. Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a little bit cautious about his future because there was a lot of anger in Israel against him for a long time for a lot of different reasons. The thing that was saving him was this special relationship that he had with Trump, and we're seeing it fractured in real time. So if that is out the window and this isn't just some giant 3D chess move, which I'm still, the optimist in me is hoping that it is, I personally I don't see how he survives.
Now, Eric Erickson, I think it's Eric, posted that this is the Harriet Miers of Donald Trump's second term. That's unfair to Harriet Miers. It's also unfair to the situation because we don't know. But it does accurately convey the sense of Republican rejection of the deal. Do you sense a massive Republican rejection of the deal?
I think that we're seeing it brewing. As I was about to sign on, I saw Senator Tom Cotton posted his clip from your show the other day. I think that there is a lot of anger. A lot of people on both sides of the Atlantic put a lot on the line here. And there's been so much animosity towards what the Obama administration did vis-a-vis Iran and JPCOA. And this feels like it's a repeat of that. And Republicans don't want their names on this.
Now, I want to stop there. The one thing I won't accept is a JCPOA comparison because that was giving Iran a detailed map to a nuclear weapon, the fastest car on the lot, and $1 billion for the road trip. Donald Trump burned up the map, destroyed the car, and blew up the car factory. So whatever it is, it can't be the JCPOA, right?
I mean, we're still giving them a suitcase full of cash, it sounds like.
Yeah, but they got no car and they got no map. Well, they might have memorized the map, but we killed a lot of the people who made the thing. Here's Richard Goldberg with Jason Chaffetz yesterday on this point. Cut number one.
Listen, I think you can be skeptical of the deal and wait for details, but also be rational and say there's no comparison to the JCPOA. Why do I say that? Everything that was allowed to grow under the JCPOA, the enrichment of uranium, R&D on advanced centrifuges, R&D on their ballistic missile program, it's all been destroyed militarily by Donald Trump. Now he's moving to the next phase. Yes, if we decide, you know what, you can get your enrichment program back, you can enrich at low levels, you only have to dilute the high enriched uranium to low levels, sure, we'll be going back to JCPOA. My read is that's not the president's red line. He needs to stick to his guns.
And then I want to play for you, Bethany, Ben Domenech last night on Fox News, cut number two.
This president has been I think he's been the best foreign policy president of my lifetime. I think that he's been incredibly bold. He has used American power to restore our sovereignty, to protect our interests, and to look out for the American people. And I think it was a gutsy call for him to go into Iran when he did. He didn't have to do it, but he did it. He thought it was the right time. And I still think that that was the right decision. This deal and everything that we know about it, to the degree that it is being spun in public by this, and behind the scenes by the administration, everything about this deal seems bad to me. It all seems bad. It all seems like a setback. It doesn't seem like it meets any of the measures that the president actually put out there of his goals when it came to this conflict. And look, at some point, this Republican Party needs to decide which kind of foreign policy it's going to have. Is it going to be an America First foreign policy, one that is bold, that uses American power in key moments decisively in order to affect what it wants to achieve? Or are we going to just backslide into being some kind of hillbilly Obama kind of GOP? That is not something that is acceptable to me. It should not be acceptable to Republicans, and it should not be acceptable to any conservative who is.
So, Bethany, do you accept Ben characterization of the GOP as divided between the restrainers and the hawkish Reagan knots? Because that's what he's alluding to.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. And I think that we're seeing that play out in the administration. We're seeing that more hawkish side in Pete Hegseth, in Marco Rubio, and we're seeing the more isolationist camp with Vice President J.D. Vance. I think it's interesting. You kind of have to learn how to read the tea leaves when you follow the Trump administration. J.D. Vance has been all over television today. He was on The View. He was on Megyn Kelly's show. He was talking about and speaking of which, he actually mentioned John on Megyn Kelly's show, funny enough, as an example of someone who was hawkishly pushing for this war. So, we have that side that's very, very vocal today, and the other side are silent. And so that's part of what's giving me real pause about this deal, that the folks that I personally align with, who are much more bellicose about, America and power and using it in smart ways and limited ways, but in effective ways, I don't see those folks talking a lot today, and that concerns me a great deal.
Bethany, I haven't heard Megyn Kelly's show yet. It would be unfortunate if the vice president singled out John. There are a lot of us who've been watching Iran for 47 years, John's among them, and who know it's an evil regime. And I wonder about the team, the vice president and Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner. Do you have that concern as well, that they don't know the case file well enough to deal with these people?
I mean, I think that to some degree, Jared Kushner does understand these people, and Witkoff does too, because they've been negotiating with them for close to 3 years with everything that happened with the Israeli hostages. So they know kind of what they're dealing with here. But I think that we underestimate Kushner at our peril. Everyone has made that calculation, and I don't want to. But the history is very clear. Decades and decades and decades of the Iranian regime killing Americans everywhere.
Maybe they know the regime and they don't know the Republican Party, because I don't know what's in the deal, so I'm not going to say anything yet. But
Yeah.
boy, I hate this regime, and I hope we didn't throw him a lifeline. Bethany Mandel, follow her on @Bethany Sean Dark, and subscribe to the momwars.substack.com, and come right back to the Hugh Show.